Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. Glad everybody could be with me on this good Monday. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe on SoundCloud, Apple, and Spotify. Also, I'm on TikTok at I'm Not Repeating Myself Pod and also on Instagram at I'm Not Repeating Myself Pod. Hope everybody had a good weekend, man. My weekend was sports teams reasons, though. Sports teams reason. But we'll get into that later, man. We'll get into that later. October's officially here, man. Like I always say, man, this year's over, man. Year's over, man. But we gonna go ahead and jump right into this shit, man. Had a very good, very good week to recap. Had a lot of shit going on, man. I want to talk to y'all niggas today, though, man. So first off, Jeezy. Jeezy had a new album with DJ Drama. Now last week I spoke about it and I misspoke. I thought it was Jeezy. I thought it was gonna be Jeezy and DJ Toomp. I don't know. I might have been reading too fast, whatever the case may be. But we got a Jeezy and Drama project called Still Snowin. And the anticipation for it was like, yeah, because niggas was waiting on Sunday. It did drop Sunday. What happened was I couldn't review it because it ended up dropping like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I said I was going to review it coming this week. So when I first hit play on this is like a soulful, funk-inspired album. And I'm not gonna front, bro. This shit kind of hard. If you would have told me that Jeezy and Drama would have been putting out a soulful funk album, I would have been like, okay, where the trap shit at? Like that's what I'm used to. I'm used to hearing the trap shit from Jeezy and Drama. Like, you know, Trap or Die was the mixtape that changed the game. But this album is pretty good, man. I'm not gonna front. And I was kind of caught off guard when I first hit play or Still Snowing, and then you go into Slide for the Show, Treason, Snowman Party. This album is 17 tracks. Treason, Snowman Party, Inside My Soul, My Friends, like that 4-track run. That shit is hard. Another sad song, this nigga Jeezy rapping over Tony Braxton. I'm like, oh hell no, bro. This shit kind of fire. I'm like, nah, Jeezy, you ain't had to kill him like that. This shit definitely hard. If I had to say like my favorite track on this album, I would probably say Anything, Hustler's Paradise, and Treason. Treason probably my favorite one. Of course, that beat is just so fire. Hanging on the loose string, like you never can go wrong with that record. But I think this was a risk. I think it was a risk, but it played out. It played out well because, like I said, I wouldn't expect Jeezy and Drama to do a soulful funk inspired project. They just don't. It don't go in the sentence together when you're talking about it. People like Jeezy and Drama, soulful funk. No, they did a good job on it. They did a good job on it, and I have to give them credit. I want to know who came up with that idea, the direction to go with it, but they delivered. It's a very, very good album, man. I can't front it. If I had to give it a rate, I'd probably give it a solid 7.5 to an 8 on it. They did a good job, man. I feel like also it doesn't feel like it's something that was forced. Like when I'm listening to the project, it don't sound like something that was forced. It felt like they really sat down with it. They went to the drawing board. They came up with a concept. They came up with what beats they was gonna use, what soul samples they was gonna use. Like they really mapped this out. This wasn't something like, all right, let's just go get some old songs. Nah, they mapped this shit out perfectly. Like I said, it was a 17-track album, so kind of within that range that I like. I like 12 to 15. But shout out to Jeezy and Drama for this project, man. I definitely fuck with this project, man. Like I said, Treason, Snowman Party, Inside My Soul, My Friends. My Friends is another one of my favorites. Another sad song, Bruce Wayne, Don't Play About Me, that's hard. Anything, Hustler's Paradise, then rounded it out with If You Don't Know Me. Yeah, this is a solid project. I definitely recommend. If you a Jeezy fan, I don't feel like you're going to be disappointed by this. You might be caught off guard because when you first hit the play, you like, bro, I'm not used to hearing Jeezy rapping over no soulful shit. I'm not used to Drama. Drama on there, of course, doing his DJ tags and screaming all that shit. But nah, this is a dope project. So salute the Drama and Jeezy for that, man. I'm interested to see if they're gonna do any live shows based off this album and perform some of these tracks just to see how it just to see the crowd reception and all that. I think the crowd will fuck with it, honestly. I think they would, but man, that was a dope project. It was a dope project. Like I said, I was kind of surprised. I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck Jeezy and Drama got going on? I kind of thought Jeezy's style wouldn't fit it. I thought his flow probably wouldn't fit. Just his overall delivery, because you just don't hear Jeezy deliver over beats like this. But it fit. It meshed very well. There was nothing that sound forced. You know, he was out of pocket. I fuck with the project. So again, shout out to Jeezy and Drama for Still Snowin. If you get a chance, go check that out. Again, that dropped last Sunday. And hopefully, man, Jeezy still put out some dope projects, man. I can't believe it's been 20 years since Trap or Die. I mean, Thug Motivation 101. Well, technically both, because I think both dropped the same year, if I'm not mistaken. If so, Trap or Die might have dropped 04, late 04, but I remember both of them dropping 05, because that was my freshman year in high school. And man, the wave that album, Thug Motivation 101, had, man, this man had snowman t-shirts banned from high schools. You know, it was just it was just a phenomenon felt across the country, man. From Air Force, Get Your Mind Right, My Hood is my favorite record on that album. And then what? It's like, man, to think that shit was 20 years, because I know he recently been touring based off of that. He had a live orchestra that he was doing at the live shows. I seen a couple of clips from that, so that was dope. But just to think, man, how much time has passed, and you look back, you be like, damn, bro, that was 20 years ago. Everybody was bumping that album in 05. I don't care. You could have been driving down the road. Somebody had their windows down. You was hearing one of those tracks. For sure. That's just what it was. But when I first heard Jeezy, I first heard Jeezy through Boys in the Hood. Of course, with their big record. Was it Boys in the Hood? I think it was Boys in the Hood. The self-titled track. I could be wrong. But I remember when he stood out to me. I think he had the second or third verse on the song. I'm like, he got like that it factor. And then that's when I heard Trap or Die. And I'm like, yeah, he's the one. You can always tell when you look at a group, you look at a duo, whatever the case may be, you can always tell the rapper that's gonna stand out. And Jeezy had the star power. And of course he had his bumps in the road early on. He went by another name early in his career, and it really wasn't sticking. But he stuck with it, bro, and he just took off because, like I said, that whole wave was just amazing. And then you had another introduction with him, of course, with Gucci on So Icy and all that. But, man, that time, that 05, 06 time frame, you couldn't talk about rap without talking about Jeezy. It just wasn't possible because he just kicked down the door. And him being a trap rapper, of course, we had, T.I., we had Gucci, we had everybody, but Jeezy just came with his own version, his own authentic self. He wasn't trying to be nobody else. He wasn't trying to force an image of being somebody else. Granted, of course, you get inspiration from other rappers. All rappers do, but he had his own distinct visual representation, his own style. Of course, then he collaborated with all the dope producers. Everything worked when Jeezy touched down, and I'm glad to see he's still here 20 years later, still putting out some dope music, man. But I just thought that was crazy. I'm like, damn, bro, it's been fucking 20 years since Thug Motivation 101 touchdown. That's fucking insane, man. That's insane. So moving on, Cardi B versus Nicki part 5,456, right? So Cardi and Nicki is at it again. Of course, off the heels of Cardi dropping her sophomore album. Them two been going at it for damn near 9 years now. And I'm to the point now with Cardi and Nicki, I've accepted the fact that they just don't like each other. And every 6 months, a year and a half, 9 months, in some way or fashion, them two are going to be going at it. Like I said last week, there could be a time where we look at certain things we thought we would never see. I would hope to see a day that Nicki and Cardi, come together, bury the hatchet. But at this rate, I just don't know. Because I look at this feud as something it can't be settled with bars. This is not no competitive sparring type of beef. They legit don't fuck with each other. And I've accepted that this is just how it's going to be, even though I don't like it. But I want to give some background to this beef because I don't necessarily have to talk about you know, kids being talked about and all that. That goes without saying. You got to leave the kids out of it. Y'all beef, leave the kids out of it. But hip hop media and fans have to have a lot of accountability when it comes to Cardi and Nicki beefing with each other. I'm going to say 90% of it is hip hop media and the rest of it is fans, because fans are just fans. So they're going to ride with who they ride with, and they feed into those shit too. But I put most of the blame on hip hop media. You got to remember, 2017 rolls around. Cardi kicks down the door with Bodak Yellow, right? Then we get the Motorsport record. This is when shit all went downhill. We barely even got to see the video live. Fuck the record. We didn't even get to see the video just like live, get a chance for it to breathe. That's when all this shit really started, when the whole video shoot. So hip hop media starts spinning narratives and, oh, why Nicki wasn't at the video shoot? Oh, this bar must be about her and da-da-da-da. Oh my, like, you got to understand, like, and I promise you, this is not me caping for Nicki. There's nothing I hear on that record that makes it, oh, she was dissing Cardi. Bro, Nicki has been calling female rappers her sons since the beginning of time. She's always been that competitive as far as her bar delivery when she be rapping on songs. Like, that's just how she gives it up. With Cardi, I felt like with her rising, that wasn't the time to start pushing narratives. You got to think, Nicki at that time had been dominating female rap for at least 8-9 years. Cardi kicks down the door. That would have been a perfect opportunity, the passing of the torch, embracing. But we didn't get to see the shit live because hip hop media was too horny and fans was too horny to see them two go at it. And both of them got egos. Both of them don't take no shit. They fed into it and they ended up beefing. Quavo has a little bit of accountability in it too, because I remember there was a time where Nicki had asked him, like, hey, kind of clear up the such and such, and he said something along the lines of, oh, I would if you was my girl type shit. And I'm like, all right, bro, like, what are we doing? Ultimately, Nicki and Cardi ended up feeding into some shit that media started. And I don't know when hip-hop media is going to be honest about it, but they have a large hand in Cardi and Nicki beefing. I will never forget that shit. That wasn't the time. Even if I don't care if you got a source from this, that, and the third. If Nicki is saying I couldn't be at the video shoot due to a scheduling conflict, accept it. If she's saying, bro, it is what it is with the bars, accept it. That was a time in hip hop where we needed that passing of the torch and embracing specifically for female rap. That's just the facts. There wasn't the time to have a fresh star kicking in the door and have her beefing with arguably at the time somebody who then became iconic and titled as the GOAT of female rap. That was not the time for that shit. It wasn't. We did not need to have Nicki and Cardi. And I said it when it happened. I said, bro, I don't like this. I don't like it. And I hate the fact that Cardi and Nicki fed into that shit, bro, because not for nothing, I honestly at the beginning didn't think they had beef. I truly believe they did not have beef, and I felt like they fed into the rumors. I felt like they fed into the he say, she say. I felt like they fed into the blogs and all this other shit. Hip-hop media has to take accountability for Nicki and Cardi beefing, bro. They do. And I know that's probably not a popular thing to say. I see what the conversation's about, but I want to introduce a different angle to this because the foundation of that is them really just listening to what other people got to say. Cardi and Nicki never really had an opportunity, and I could be wrong. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, to even have a sit down and have a conversation. And I'm not saying either side is not. Both of them are accountable. Yes, both of them have a hand in it. But the foundational reason, I have to put it on hip hop media. They was too horny to see two stars, one of them being, solidified veteran in the game, icon status, to the passing of the torch of the up-and-coming next one, because Cardi was the next one. That's just what it was. Like, when Cardi kicked down the door, it was like, damn, bro, like, she was off Love and Hip Hop. Cardi was really like the first and only female rapper from the Love and Hip Hop tree to really take off in the light that she did. That was the perfect opportunity to have embracement. Now what do we have? Years later, you have still Cardi and Nicki beefing on some also Avengers Civil War type shit. You got media personalities who picking sides. You got other female rappers picking sides. It's just so much clash amongst the female hip hop community, and it didn't have to be that way. It legit didn't have to be that way. And all that's gonna come from it is just this. This is just how it's gonna be. Do I like it? No, not at all. Do I understand them not liking each other? 100%. But like I always say with anything, it's all about how you handle shit. Y'all beef, that's fine. Leave the kids out of it. Leave the kids out of it. Nicki, she's pregnant. So you know that threatening a pregnant woman, talking about her kid, talking about you gonna do this. You know, Cardi, you know, she from the BX. Nicki, she from Queens. Those they carry a certain type of bravado or a certain type of ego. They don't back down from shit. Like I said, that's just an ultimate clash of clashes. Clash of Titan type shit. Talking about, like, you pregnant. You shouldn't even be going back and forth on the internet. And of course, the fans don't make it no better. The Barbs don't make it no better. Barty Gang don't make it no better. But the reason why I don't really get on the fans as much is because I expect that from the fans. I expect the artists to carry themselves better. I 100% expect the artists to carry themselves better within these feuds. Because nothing good ever comes from it. This is not something that's going to, like I said earlier, this is something that's not going to get settled over some bars. Not between them two, though. This is legit. I seen people doing the comparisons of, Drake and Kendrick was, talking about each other. I'm like, bro, that it's nowhere near the same shit. If anything, them niggas was light with it. Them niggas was basically saying, bro, you need to be a better father. I'm talking about, which I won't repeat on here, I seen what they were saying about each other's kids. And, like, face to face, people will kill and someone else can die over somebody's kids. Just off of words. Like, this is the part of it that's not funny. It's not a game. So hopefully one day they can get to a place where they can have a conversation. They could come to an understanding, because I truly believe the foundation of this is just a misunderstanding. And it all stemmed from that motorsport video shoot. Go do your research. Do your history. The YouTube videos are out there. I'm not telling no fucking lies. Because one of the videos I seen in particular was breaking it down, talking about people started pitting. Those are literally like the first 3 words within that video. People. Who are the people? Hip-hop media. Fans. It wasn't like no direct thing. There was nothing there. There was nothing. They created that. So, like, if you was somebody in hip-hop media who got a quote, oh, yeah, she don't really fuck with her, she wasn't in the video. Hey, bro, I'm not entertaining that. This is a great moment right now. We got Nicki and Cardi on the motorsport record. 2 of the biggest female rappers in the game right now. They're passing the torch. Let it breathe. Let the shit breathe. We didn't, like, motorsport didn't really get to live in hip-hop how it was supposed to live. It didn't. Because what's going to end up happening is, if this continues, it can get dangerous. I love hip-hop. I love competitiveness. I don't like to see nobody get hurt behind it. I remember Kim and Foxy. A lot of y'all probably don't remember Kim and Foxy. Damn near New York gun laws got changed because of Foxy and Lil' Kim. And that shit didn't stay in the booth. That shit was real. And Cardi and Nicki, this is some real beef. This is not something where we're going to get legendary diss tracks like we did from Kendrick and Drake. This is not that. That's not going to happen. A conversation has to be had between those two. Do I think it will happen? No. But I think for things to be better and for the betterment of hip-hop, it needs to happen. But both of them, they have egos. A lot of words hadn't been said at this point. It's going to take a lot for it to come to a peace. And honestly, what be happening a lot of the times too? The circles really be the ones that be starting this shit too. I don't have no information, as, of course, I'm just going off of what I seen. But a lot of the times, it be the circles be antagonizing, stirring shit up from both parties, from Nicki and Cardi side. We don't got to play dumb. We all know who side with who. We've been seeing it. But that's a lot of the times where this should be stemming from too. It be the circles. It don't necessarily always be the artists themselves. It be the fucking entourage. It be the entourage starting shit. Every time. We seen Nicki damn near 20 years now. We know how she gives it up. You know that's somebody you can't continuously go back and forth with on the internet. You're not going to win. We know how far she goes. Cardi, same thing. Like I said, these are two women who are from the top boroughs in NY. One from Queens, one from the BX. They carry a certain type of persona. Nicki calls herself Mrs. Petty, even though legally that's her last name. Look, she was petty before then. So it's all about knowing who you deal with. If you're somebody who's within it, because at the end of the day, I truly believe Nicki is somebody who's going to do what she wants to do. But you as somebody who's a friend or in their circle have a responsibility too, whether you believe it or not. Because if somebody in hip hop media is coming to you, or somebody on Twitter is at and you about something, you have a duty also to not feed into that narrative. I remember Tony Yayo said something to Shannon Sharp on his interview. He said, I'm never worried about the rapper, bro. I'm worried about the niggas around the rapper. That's what Tony was saying. Tony was saying it's not usually the rapper that be the threat. It be the niggas around the fucking rapper. When Henchman and 50 and all them was beefing, the niggas who died in that was the niggas in the entourage. It wasn't 50. It wasn't Henchman himself. Niggas died behind that, but it wasn't the... That's what I'm saying. If you're in that circle, you have a certain level of responsibility to carry yourself properly and not feed into the negativity, because ultimately it does everybody a disservice. So if you have people coming to you telling you certain shit or trying to start you have a duty not to feed into that shit or give them ammo. If I'm in Nicki's circle and somebody's coming, yo, watch this, I heard such, that's not true, bro. Even if I know it to be true, for the sake of hip hop, I'm not going to give you that ammo, because ultimately what it's about at the end of the day is her as an artist and her well-being, Cardi as an artist and her well-being, and the well-being of hip hop. You keep shit like that under wraps for as long as you can. And if there is a misunderstanding, it's on them to have the responsibility to have an adult conversation. Not going back and forth on the net about what's going on with this one. Then, again, you got the Avengers Civil War shit going on. You got other female rappers choosing sides. Ice Spice on this side with this one. Lotto on this side. Yo, JT on this. What the fuck are we doing? Meg on this side? No. We can't continue to preach this togetherness in hip hop and then we be having feuds over nothing. That's really what it be, over nothing. Like I said, this shit all started by Cardi and Nicki, sadly, feeding into the fucking narratives. He said, she said shit. Again, go do your research. It's out there. It was 2017. Hip-hop media is 90% of the blame for why Cardi and Nicki are beefing till this day. And I will stand on that shit 10 toes. They wanted to see that. But hip-hop didn't need to see that, bro. It was too fresh of the opportunity to have the passing of the torch of the female rap icon and the upcoming star who was a fan of said icon. Any rapper who was coming up since the late 2000s, going into 2010s, 100% was a fan of Nicki. And I'm not saying Nicki is innocent in all of this neither, because she can shoot herself in the foot a lot of the times as well. Because I did see her say, "Oh, I felt like Cardi never embraced me," and that, bro, she was a fan of you, Nicki. And I do feel like at the times Nicki feel as if a lot of the female rappers somewhat have to kiss her ass. They don't have to do that. They can love you, they can embrace you, but they don't have to go as that far to do that. So there is some accountability on both parties. And it's unfortunate that both of them fed into that shit. It's unfortunate that both of them fed into that shit because it didn't have to go that way. It legit didn't have to go that way. So, like I said, I don't really have too much in terms of that because that's just my take on it. I don't really want to drag it out too much long because, like I said, a lot of that stuff I'm not a fan of. I will never be with the kids and certain kids doing all this back and forth and all that. Nah, we not doing that. I would have liked to see some Cardi and Nicki diss records. You know, keep it at rap, keep it in the booth, but we never got that. The only thing we really got was Nicki and Remy. We all know how that went. But I've accepted that's just what it's going to be for Nicki and Cardi. Now, moving on to another feud that still involves one of them. I remember last week, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, I said, you know, JT and Uzi might have to get on a record together. A record did come. It wasn't JT and Uzi, but it was JT. So Academics premiered a diss record that JT had to Cardi. And I gotta be honest, when I first heard the record, I was like, damn. It's kind of starting off kind of but it picked up. I gotta be honest. I gotta give credit to JT for that diss. That was a pretty, for the standard that I have for her as a rapper, you know, it was nothing crazy. I wasn't expecting like no Sheether or nothing like that. But it was a pretty good diss record. I can't front. There was a couple of funny bars in there, man. I can't lie, man. There was a couple of funny bars in there, man. There was a couple of funny bars. When she says, I know his pickup line was "fuck that, let's shake ass." Talk about stacking paper. Let me see you read a book. I don't know. Those are some pretty funny bars, man. Like I said, I didn't expect nothing crazy from JT, but I do think it was a good attempt. I do think it was a good attempt of a diss. She delivered to, again, for the standard I have of her. I'll be interested to see if Cardi's gonna respond to that. I don't think Cardi ever made a diss record. I don't think she ever made a diss record. But I'll be interested to see how she responds. I think it's worthy of a response. I do think that record is worthy of response. And she was rapping for the full 4 minutes. I will give her that. It wasn't a lot of the beat playing, a lot of that. JT was rapping on that record for the full 4 minutes. Like I said, it started off slow, but she got a few punches in there. I would say that, hey, you talking about stacking paper. Let me see you read a book, ho. That was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. I know his pickup line was "fuck that, let's shake ass." That was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. That shit had me rolling. She had a couple of haymakers in there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying it's like no crazy. Again, I'm not saying there's no crazy diss or nothing like that. But I feel like that diss record is worthy of response from Cardi. I do. And that's the shit that's how it should be. Keeping it at the rap. Getting, at least she got in the booth. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like it is worthy of. But see, I remember Bia had a diss record to Cardi. Was it a year and a half ago? And Cardi never responded to that. I didn't forget that. So I feel like, hey, you about to be over 2, Cardi. I'm just talking about the competitive nature of this shit. That's all I'm talking about. Like, hey, I don't remember her responding to Bia. She kind of got at her too, but I will say, honestly speaking, that was a good attempt from JT. I'm not gonna front. JT was getting at her, and the fact that she was rapping for the 3-4 minutes, that was a pretty dope diss record for her standard. I'm not gonna front. That was good. So I'll be interested to see if Cardi responds to that, man. I'll be definitely interested to see if she responds to that. So moving on, Pusha T. In the clips, they had an interview with Billboard, and they had some comments as to regards to, you know, ageism in hip hop. And I remember when the album first came out, I spoke about ageism and actually gave Malice some credit because he spoke about that as well in an interview that they had at the time. And I always preach that, hip hop always had got this tag that it's a young man's game, or you shouldn't be rapping at, sometimes even 30 plus years old. Like I said, I remember I said this then. Game got a bar on the song. He's like, oh, you 38 still rapping? Like a lot of niggas putting out classic work at 38. We've seen it. So I wanna read this quote for what Pusha T said about, let God sort him out. Pusha T believes Clips let God sort him out album changed the outlook for ageism in hip hop. I've always looked at rap and other genres, rock specifically, and I've never liked how rap was always had the age ceiling where everyone else didn't. I personally always wanted to make it my business to crack the ceiling, and I think Clips' album 100% did it. Now, I get what he was saying with this quote, but I can't say let God sort him out change the outlook for ageism in hip hop. I can't say that. Nas was Grammy nominated for Life is Good. He won his first Grammy for King's Disease. He was 47 years old when that album came out. Of course, you got Jay-Z with 444. Well-received album. You got other examples of, rappers coming out around shit. Even with Jay with Kingdom Come. When he came out, like he had to remind niggas. Now, it wasn't overall receptive like the rest of his albums, but he was doing his thing. American Gangster. Niggas dub American Gangster a classic. Hov was 38 when that album came out. So I can't say, honestly, let God sort him out change the outlook for ageism in hip-hop. That would be telling a lie. But I get what he was saying about it. It was a great album. But saying let God sort him out change the outlook for ageism in hip-hop, no, that would be telling a lie. I can't roll with that one. And I just seen that let God sort them out. They had their list for for Grammys that they get nominated for best rap album. There was also some other. I'm trying to see who else got nominated. Best. Let me see, because I know let God sort them out was on that list. 2026. Let me see, because I put 2026. My bad, y'all. I think they did release it yesterday. All right, so for best rap album, you got Kendrick Lamar, GNX. You got Tyler Creator for Chromacopia, Clips, Let God Sort Them Out. I think. Oh, these are submissions. These are the submissions. I don't know. These are official nominations. Yeah. So far, with the Grammy when the 2026 Grammy nominations are announced on Friday, November 7th. Okay, so those will be announced on the 7th. 3 out. This is just an article speaking about 3 that stand out. And I just named them. GNX. Tyler Creator's Chromacopia. Clips Let God Sort. I'm gonna be honest. I stood by this then. I say it now. I think GNX should win. I think GNX should take home for best rap album. The Clips had a great album, but also I feel like I don't know if he made the cut. I feel like Supreme Clientele 2 should get a nomination. I said I feel like it's damn almost a classic to me. I think it's a classic body of work. I think Ghostface Killah did some of his supreme Clientele, his supreme work on that album, man. Like that was a great tapping on the door classic album, man. But if I had to give the nod to somebody, if that didn't make the cut, I'm gonna go with GNX. GNX with top to bottom, no questions asked. That's best rap album. Easily best rap album of 2025, bro. Kendrick Lamar, that's arguably top 2 for me. I got it right after Good Kid, Mad City. I do. I honestly do. But we'll see how it all unfolds. Like I said, the nominations will be dropped on the 7th. But getting back to Let God Sort Them Out. God Sort Them Out was a great album. Great album. I think I gave it an 8.5 to a 9. But to say that it changed the outlook for ageism in hip hop, no. But we need to continue to have these rappers. Like I said, there's been a lot of rappers this year. This has definitely been a year for veteran rappers. I said that on a previous episode as well. A lot of the older statesmen are getting busy in 2025. This is the year I would say the veteran rappers carried hip hop in 2025. They definitely did. And again, just like with Jeezy dropping Still Snowin'. These niggas is getting busy, bro. Getting busy. So we'll see how those nominations go. Like I said, I understand where Pusha T was coming from, but I can't give you that one, dog. Can't give you that one. So moving on. Benny the Butcher has some funny, interesting comments, bro. So Benny the Butcher has some comments, and I'm gonna play the clip. I just want to pull it up real quick just to give y'all what he was saying. Benny the Butcher says the voice of the streets no longer carries weight in the culture because the nerds are in control. So let me go ahead and play y'all this clip.
Hey, yo, y'all see what state the game is in when the streets don't hold the culture of the game? Now that the weird Twitter nerds and the nerds and all of these weird motherfuckers got, you know what I mean, they got their hands on the culture. The voice of the streets don't mean as much as it did when we was coming up. There was a lot of cons to that as well. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say that, but you see what happened when the streets, you know what I mean, don't control the game no more. It's a lot of fuck nigga shit going on, man. And a lot of people's okay with it because they're fuck niggas, man. Hey, yo, y'all see?
So, Benny the Butcher, I fuck with you. You my favorite artist from Griselda. Majority of your fans are not street niggas. And I remember I had this conversation with somebody a while back. I don't know what make y'all niggas think that street niggas are the majority fans in rap, period. They are not. Again, street niggas are not the majority because a lot of y'all lack comprehension. I'm not saying street niggas are not fans in rap. They are not the majority when it comes to fans in rap. Most of them are civilians. Benny the Butcher, majority of your fans are civilians, my nigga. And that's just the reality. There seems to be this want to for street niggas to have control and voice over what needs to be dictated in hip hop. It's not that way. Street niggas do relate to a lot of rappers. But again, they are not the majority in rap as far as the fan base. And it's never been that way. Never. As hip hop has continued to grow, it will continue to expand because our culture is the most impactful on this earth. The reality is the majority of people on this earth are not street niggas. And why would you even want that anyway? Their word respectfully is not law in hip hop. Do I understand what street niggas subscribe to and every 100% I understand. I'm not a street nigga, but I understand what they subscribe to, what they believe in. But to think that the nerds shouldn't have a voice. Now, this sounds personal, in my opinion. So, for whoever this message was directed to, you might have did something to Benny. He feels some type of way. You might need to clear that up with him. But I feel like a lot of the times, a lot of that message be directed at the academics, the other guys. And I've said this before. A lot of y'all give a lot of attention to shit that you don't like. Because ultimately, what I feel like and what I think it is it's not academics that you don't like. It's not the Vlad that you don't like. I'm not saying that's who Benny was talking about. I'm just, making a point here. It's the reception that they get. It's their platform. It's who people, they gear towards. It's not necessarily them. Because I said this before also, there are a lot of people who are covering hip-hop to the level that you like, yet they might not be as big as academics. You ain't giving them no attention. I know there to be probably a lot of people in hip-hop media who are covering this shit in a fashion that you like. They probably tag y'all in posts, all type of shit. Y'all don't say shit. Y'all ignore them. But y'all give all the attention and all the energy to the motherfuckers you don't like. So again, Benny, you need to go ahead and take a real good look at your fan base, my nigga. Because like I said, the nerds are majority of your quote-unquote the nerds are the majority of your fan base. Majority of your fan base are civilians, my nigga. And a lot of you rappers' fan base, the majority, whether you like it or not, majority of them are civilians. That's just what it is. And that's what it's going to continue to be. You can't have a genre grow and expect for it to stay to a certain demographic of people. That's not how that's not even how energy works. That's not how the world rotates. That's not how the world goes. As something continues to expand, it reaches a broader audience. That's what it does. Now, you can speak. Your content can speak to a certain demographic of people. But who receives it is different. You don't have to be a street nigga to like street nigga music. When I was listening to Jeezy, I was not a street nigga, but I loved the music and I loved the picture that he painted within his music. And it just don't go for street niggas. It could go for niggas getting money, who live in that rich lifestyle. I wasn't no baller, shot caller, none of that shit. But I was a fan of Cash Money Records. I was a fan of Baby, Manny, Big Timers. I couldn't relate to Big Timers music, but I fuck with it. So again, you speaking to a certain audience and who receive it are two different things. Your content can be delivered to street niggas. Nothing wrong with that. But once you put your music out there, whoever likes it, like it. A motherfucker who working on Wall Street can love your music, Benny. A motherfucker who working 9 to 5, who's an engineer, can love your music, Benny. A motherfucker who's a rock climber can love your music, Benny. Because you put it out there. We all have access to music. It reaches a broader audience. And that's what I would hope to think that's what you want as an artist. You want your fan base to grow. But you don't control who likes your music. You don't control that. You don't control who likes your music, and you don't control who dislikes your music, brother. So you need to go take another look at your fan base before you make comments like that, because you dissing most of them in them comments right there. You dissing majority of them. That's what you're doing. So that's pretty much all I got with that. Y'all really gotta change your outlook on hip hop, bro. Like y'all gotta kill this narrative about street niggas having the overall majority say so in this shit. They don't, bro. And it's okay. It's cool. No disrespect, but they just don't. All right. So moving on. Diddy got sentenced. Let me pull this up real quick. So, Sean Diddy Combs was convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution in July of 2025. On October 3rd, 2025, a judge sentenced him to 50 months in federal prison plus 5 years of supervised release and a $500,000 fine. He was acquitted of the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. So, 50 months is about 4 years. 2 months. That's what he received. I kind of felt like it was going to be within that window as well when I spoke about it last week. And because I didn't feel like he was going to get the 11 years that the prosecution was seeking. But I want to read something. I don't know why it took all day for them to do the sentencing. There was a lot of animation, a lot of theatrics with that shit there. That was ridiculous. All this shit, he really didn't get sentenced about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That shit had taken recess and all this other shit. But I found something interesting within this too that was so stupid to me and didn't make no sense. So, prosecution had brought up a fact of Diddy having speaking engagements booked for next week. So, when, his attorney had to speak on it, this is what his attorney said. October 6th is not a speaking engagement. It is that people realize he is different. He can speak about drugs, about putting your hands on a woman. He can change people's lives. It's not a speaking engagement. It is a healing. So a speaking engagement, motherfucker. That's what that is. You could kind of dress it up and make it sound however you want to sound. But that's a speaking engagement. Secondly, who the fuck thought within his circle that this would be smart to do? Because we all know the judge hands down the sentencing. So the judge could have been well within his route, feeling however they want to feel, because that's what judges do, to give him longer time for doing some shit like this. That almost what could have happened. Oh, so you think this shit is a game? You already got speaking engagements booked for next week because you think you going home today. That ego, man. That ego. That nigga thought he was coming home. That's why he had that shit booked. Thinking, again, you above the system. Because no man within his right mind would have had no fucking speaking engagements booked before he got sentenced. That don't even fucking make sense. Like, come on, bro. Like, who does some dumb shit like this? But again, that ego. That ego. I read that shit. I said, no, bro, this got to be fake. There's no way he did that. There's no way Diddy did that. And whoever booked him, you a dumbass too. But there were some people out there who really thought he was coming home the same day. I didn't see that. I didn't think that nigga was just going to get time served. I thought he was going to at least get about 3 to 5. Like I said, he got the 4 years. But to have speaking engagements booked, that's beyond level of stupidity, arrogance, again, ego. Like, bro, you're not thinking before you get sentenced. Come on, bro. No. You're not taking it seriously when you do shit like that. You're not taking it seriously. And again, when Diddy comes home, and I said this before, I still don't think he's going to be received in the light that, that some people might think he will. I think, like I said, after the Cassie video, I was done with him. I don't even fuck with dog like that. He did what he did for music. That's great. Has some classic records, but after seeing that video, nah, can't rock with that. And granted, a lot of what we saw in this case was to try to pin him for the Cassie video, but he wasn't on trial for the Cassie video. So this sentencing, I would say, because I know the judge was saying that, some people are seeking time served, that's not enough, but 11 years is, that's a little bit excessive. So I figured he was, like, again, I thought he was going to get within that window, and he got the 4 years. So, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So moving on to another sad story, man, this shit fucked me up, man. This shit fucked me up. So if y'all remember, Kyren Lacy was a talented wide receiver from LSU. He was slated to be in the 2025 draft. Unfortunately, he committed suicide back in, I want to say, April, taking his life because he was about to appear in court 2 days before he actually took his life for negligent homicide for the death of, I think, a 55-year-old veteran in a car accident. And I came across some footage Saturday from his attorney and video footage of the actual accident. And to my surprise and a lot of people's surprise, Kyren Lacy was not reckless driving at all. Because the story that was presented was that he was recklessly driving, had to swerve out of lane, which caused the accident, which caused the death of somebody else. That was the story that was presented and why he had these charges. So I see the video and I see an accident happen. And then literally 20 seconds later, I see a green Charger come up and drive around the accident. That's Kyren Lacy. This happened in January. So Kyren Lacy had got charged with negligent homicide. So then after I'm seeing all of this information, I came across a tweet, and this tweet is from February, and I'm surprised I didn't see it then. His attorney was on it immediately because, like I said, this happened in late January, I want to say. So I want to read this statement again. This is from February. Kyren Lacy's defense attorney, Matthew Ory, releases a full statement concerning the facts surrounding Lacy's arrest for negligent homicide and the accident itself. As the defense attorney for Kyren Lacy, I wish to address the charges of negligent homicide and clarify the facts surrounding this tragic incident. On the day of the accident, Mr. Lacy was driving on a road with 2 lanes in each direction. While he briefly passed other vehicles, he safely re-entered his lane without incident. The collision that resulted in the death of Mr. Herman was not caused by Mr. Lacy's actions. The accident occurred directly in front of him when a second vehicle in the oncoming lane crossed the center line and collided with Mr. Herman's vehicle, in which he was a passenger. We are the information to believe that the vehicle that collided with Mr. Herman's vehicle was issued a citation. At no time did Mr. Lacy's vehicle strike the rear of Mr. Herman's vehicle, nor did any of the vehicles Mr. Lacy passed collide with his. After the collision occurred in front of Mr. Lacy, he cautiously went around the vehicles after the passage was safe. It is crucial to emphasize that Mr. Lacy did not cause or contribute to the crash. There was no suspicion of alcohol or drug use involved. Furthermore, contrary to some media reports, Mr. Lacy never returned to the scene of the accident. Mr. Lacy's actions following the incident, including sharing graduation pictures and engaging in a training, were never intended to minimize the tragedy that occurred. He did not believe he was at fault for this accident, and as such, he continued with his daily activities. Throughout his career, Mr. Lacy has been exemplary community member and teammate. We ask that he not be judged prematurely, and we are confident that further investigation will show that he acted within the bounds of the law. I will vigorously defend his innocence in this case. Matthew Ori. This was February 2nd, 2025. Dog, when I seen this shit, my blood started boiling, because also with that was the body cam footage of the police officer going to another citizen, another person that was on scene of the accident, basically telling him, and y'all could go look at these videos, I'm not gonna play them on here, basically telling him, oh, make sure you write down that you had to slam on your brakes, behind the Charger. Huh? That Charger had nothing to do with the accident. Everybody needs to be held accountable who lied on Kyren Lacy's name, point blank, period. The officer who lied and got the statement from that person, the person who actually gave the statement, the woman who lied on him, who actually caused the accident and caused the death of that man, and falsely accused Kyren Lacy. Because you know what's even more fucked up? A mother and a father lost their son behind a lie. It's no telling what was going through Kyren's head when all this was going down. That man took his life in April. 25 years old. About to come into the league. And I feel like, and I still hope they get justice, but there's no amount of justice that can ultimately bring him back. Because he's gone. But hopefully they can get a certain level of justice, because everybody needs to be held accountable who lied on that brother. Because Kyren Lacy should still be here today. This shit is so fucked up, bro. And it's clear as day when you go look at the video and you see this man's car is nowhere near the accident. You see the accident happen. You see another car kind of pull off to the side to avoid the car that got into the accident. He pulls off to the side, and then Kyren is just pulling up gradually, just going around the accident. So hopefully they're on this woman. I don't know her name. I don't know what she looks like. They haven't released no information as regards to that. But I usually when shit like this happens, you usually get some video that gets put out. But this is October now. Again, that shit happened in January. And Kyren, unfortunately, again, took his life in April. That shit is so fucked up, man. That shit is so fucked up, man. And I was so, because it was painted as if he was reckless driving. It's like, damn, bro, like you reckless right before the NFL draft. I was even questioning. I'm sitting back like, damn, bro, like, come on, man, you gotta be smarter than that. Tripping. Now we get the video in October. I didn't even see that statement. That statement that I read from his lawyer, that was in February. I didn't even see that shit. I didn't even see it. I didn't see no other reports. I didn't see like no updates or none of that. I had seen none of that. And like I said, I hope the family gets justice. Ultimately, I know it really, ultimately, is not going to really fill a void of Kyren because he's not here. But the fact that you can cause an accident and lie on somebody else is insane. And that woman should be locked up. She should be locked up. No questions asked. The police officer who lied, who had the body cam footage. You basically forcing somebody to make a statement that's not true, my nigga. That literally didn't happen. Oh, make sure that you had to slam. The car was yards, like 75 yards behind that whole shit. Like I said, it took him about 20 seconds to come up into the image in the video after the accident. He was nowhere. His car didn't pull up within the 5-10 seconds of that accident happening. He's trailing that shit by 70 yards. So I want to say, all I can say is, man, RIP to Kyren Lacy, man. And, man, I hope his family gets justice, man, because that shit is so fucked up. And it's unfortunate that we even have to not only wait this extended period of time for video to come out for some shit like that. This is people's lives that you playing with. You don't get to hit the reset button. You don't get to do a mulligan. You don't get to do a reset. So ain't no telling what was going on in that man's mind before he decided to take his life. Scared. Then, because he legit was innocent. He had nothing to do with it. So I just want to say RIP to Kyren Lacy, man. I hope his family gets justice, man. That's all I can say. Prayers of y'all. Because, man, it's, like I said, bro, I'm just getting emotional even thinking about it, bro. Because you don't get your loved one back. I can relate. I know what it's like to lose a sibling, a younger one at that. You don't get to see them again. You don't, bro. That shit is so fucked up. So I hope Kyren Lacy, and shout out to his attorney for, still pursuing this after he died. And I saw a clip of him at Kyren's funeral speaking about that, how he wasn't going to lay low on this. Like, he was going to continue to fight it. But it's so unfortunate that this video came out before he took his life, man. This shit is so fucked up. So fucked up. So again, RIP to Kyren Lacy, man. And I hope his family fights to the end to clear his name, man. And everybody involved who lied on that man should be locked up. Everybody. So, moving on to some sports news. So, Dylan Gabriel gets a start over Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco gets benched and he gets moved down to the second. Shedeur Sanders is his third string quarterback. So, of course, we all seen the video during the week of Shedeur Sanders responding to questions like a mime. So let me say this. Responding to questions like a mime is not a good look. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care how none of you niggas try to dress it up. It's not a good look. And no, I don't agree with Deion Sanders co-signing that neither. It's his son, so he has free range to do whatever he wants to do. That's fine, but I don't agree with that. This is where I'm at with this whole Shedeur Sanders thing. Because ultimately, all I really want to do is speak about what he does on the field. The last time I spoke about Shedeur was his preseason game against us when he played. Had a good game. We all know Shedeur Sanders got a raw deal coming. There's no way he should have been a 5th-round pick. No way. I had him as a late 1st, 2nd-round grade. So, yes, he did get a raw deal. But you have an opportunity now. You at least have an opportunity now. You will get your shot. What is wrong with saying, hey, we all know this league, it can be a wild turn of events. Things can happen. My job on my team is to be prepared like my number is going to be called and prepare like my name is going to be called. That's it. Instead of you answering a question like a mime. That does you a disservice. So I'm not even here to do a whole bunch of talking about the mime thing. I'm about solutions. So how about this? If Shedeur Sanders feels and his fans feel as if he's getting played with, ask for a release. Ask for a release, bet on yourself, and test yourself on the market. Because this doesn't help your case. Because the fact of the matter is you are a 3rd string on the Browns. Context matters. Do I believe Dylan Gabriel will hold that job? No, I don't. I truly believe Shedeur Sanders will get his shot. But you still have to carry yourself like a pro even when you get dealt a raw hand, my nigga. So if you feel like you're getting played with, you want to answer questions like a mom, ask for a release. Stand on it 100%. Ask for a release. Because it's still your duty to carry yourself like a pro. You don't know what can happen. We seen freak injuries happen. We see it. At any given moment, your number can be called. That's your opportunity. And again, you are the 3rd string. Do I believe Shedeur Sanders can be a good quarterback in this league? Yeah, 100%. I do believe. And I do believe he was played with. But you still have work to get done and still have the opportunity to prepare. Because, again, you don't know what can happen. Dylan Gabriel could be sticking the joint up. They don't want to put Flacco in. Your name can be called. I've seen games where both quarterbacks got injured in the game. NFC Championship game 2022. Brock Purdy got hurt. The backup got hurt. They had Christian McCaffrey playing running back. You never know what can happen in this game, bruh. We all know why Shedeur gets the coverage that he gets. It goes without saying. He's Deion Sanders' son. He's a Sanders. But we should be getting coverage on the good shit, not the unnecessary shit. Everybody telling me, well, who's the third string quarterback on such and such? That don't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter how many times you niggas try to deflect on that point. Champion him answering the question like a mime is not no cool shit. All this mentality of quote unquote stick it to the man. Oh, I'll show them. Bro, you show them by preparing and showing them you get busy. He will get his opportunity. But part of that also is how you conduct yourselves. I get it, bruh. You was played with. You did get a raw fucking deal. But answering the questions like a fucking mime is not no real shit. That's clown shit. That's clown shit. So again, if you feel like as if they playing with you, just go ahead and ask for the release and bet on yourself. But see, when I told other niggas that, then it's pushback. Oh, well, who? No, stand on it. Stand on it. Ask for the release. Your job, regardless of where you place at on the depth chart, is to prepare like a pro. Point blank, period. Prepare like a pro, because you never know when your opportunity will come up. That's it. I want to see Shedeur play. I want to see him be good. But I can't co-sign bullshit. I cannot co-sign bullshit, bro. That mom shit was some bullshit. It was. There's no other way to dress it up. No other way to dress it up. I'm not one of these niggas that's gonna sit up here and say what other niggas saying or say something to try to get. No, I'm giving it to you raw and real. Again, yes, he got played with, but you are on a roster. That's the reality. Your reality is you're on a roster. Reality is you're on a bad Browns team. Reality is they have question marks at the quarterback position. And most likely what your outcome will be is you will get an opportunity to play. But professionalism is not only how you play, it's how you conduct yourselves outside the field as well. Bro, just answer the question. It's nothing to say, hey, listen, again, we all know this game can have wild turns. At any given moment, my number can be called. My job is to prepare like a pro and support my backup and my starting quarterback as best way as possible. Move on. 10 seconds. Instead of you answering the question like a mom and it being a fucking story all week. It doesn't make sense. Solution-based. Not fueling the fire. Solution-based. Not fueling the fire. That's all I really have to say about that. I wish Shedeur the best. I ultimately want him to succeed and be great. But just because I want to see that does not mean I have to co-sign bullshit. And I will never do that. I don't care what nobody say. I form my opinions and my views based off of what I feel was right and what I feel is wrong. That was wrong. And it's not a good look. I truly believe Shedeur will get his opportunity to play. I truly believe that. And I do believe when he does get his opportunity that he will ball out. I do think Shedeur is a good quarterback. And I think he has opportunity and room to grow into be an elite quarterback. But he has to put in the work. Because also what I find interesting too is, see, a lot of these cases when a team knows who their quarterback should be. So what I feel, I don't know. What I feel is going on is he still has some work to do. Because we all know reporters talk to players off the record. There would be some rumblings about the Browns players wanting him to be the starting quarterback. We've seen it happen. We seen that happen. There will be some rumblings of him starting for the Browns. So which tells me is he still has some work to do. This is not to say that Shedeur is not working. This is to say he probably has some more work to do because, again, a lot of y'all lack comprehension. This is not saying Shedeur is not working. This is to say that Shedeur probably has some more work to do. Do I believe Dillon Gabriel is better than him? No, I didn't have him rated over him going into the fucking draft. Hell no. There's no way I would have drafted Dillon Gabriel over fucking Shedeur Sanders. Fuck no. Again, he should have been a late first round, second round pick. So I seen him play. But again, bro, you have an opportunity because of the simple fact that you're on the roster. You're not on the practice squad. So that's pretty much all I got for that. All right. So moving on. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is going to be out for about at least 2-3 weeks with a hamstring injury. This whole Raven shit is, it seems like the rails are falling off this shit, man. So, I mean, when it comes, I look at Lamar Jackson's situation in Baltimore as like, he'll always be like right on the edge, like on some Dan Marino shit. Still young, still 27 years old. He got a lot more time to, I mean, he's still in his prime. I think he'll get better. But as far as like a playoff run, I just don't see it for the Ravens. Cooper Rush is their backup. He's really going to have to hold it down. The running backs are going to have to step up. Wide receivers are going to have to step up. You don't have the playmaking ability. As far as Lamar Jackson to extend plays, they really going to have to get busy for them to put a Band-Aid as far as, you know, his injury. You got to make some shit shake. But I just feel like it's going to be one of them years where it's going to have to be next year. It's going to have to be next year. And I know it's easy. It's always easy to blame. And let me be clear. When I be saying this whole it's easy to blame a coach thing, this is not just for specifically a few teams. I apply this to every fucking sport, mainly basketball and football. College, I feel like coaching is more of a, how can I say, you put more of a light on coaching in college sports because these guys are younger. They're not as skilled as a pro level. When you get to the pro level, my nigga, you know better. And ultimately, the players play. They're the best of the best at the pro level. College, yeah, that coach might have to get fired for these guys to be better. At the pro level, that's what I say. When games are won, I give more credit to the players. When games are lost, I put more accountability on the players. So I'm consistent. It's easy to blame John Harbaugh, but I always ask this. Who the fuck are you going to get to replace him? This man has been a standard NFL coach since 2008. 17 years. You're just not going to replace that and then have high expectations of the next coach coming in. That's not how the shit works because I know how fans operate. Fans always want success now, especially when you're a team of the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not saying the Ravens don't have accountability as far as closing out games. Yes, but ultimately the players play. So who are you going to get to replace John Harbaugh? Because he's a standard, in my opinion, as far as NFL coaches. He's top 3 coach. You're not naming 3 coaches better than him right now. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn. If I had an opportunity to snatch him, I'm snatching him up. John, you don't stay in the NFL that coach for a long time for no fucking reason. He just didn't lose his ability. A lot of what I see going on is players not executing the fucking plays. Oh, John Harbaugh blows leads. No, the players blow leads. These niggas get lazy. They get complacent. So that's what I want niggas to answer for me. If you fire fucking John Harbaugh, who you gonna get to replace him? Let me know. All right? So, moving on. Florida State, Miami. These niggas made me eat my fucking words, bro. These niggas got smoked by fucking Miami at home in Doak. It is what it is, man. I popped that shit. My team didn't back it up. So, hey, it's still fuck y'all niggas, but hey, y'all did y'all thing, bro. Y'all did y'all thing. My Florida State Seminoles imaginary players. You had me in the beginning of the season. I was wrong. We trash. Consolano showed his true colors. And I'm not gonna do this up and down thing. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. Like I said, you had me in the beginning of the year. We're basically out of ACC championship contention. We're definitely out of playoff contention. So it is what it is. Mark Sanchez got stabbed Saturday night because he was in Indianapolis to call the Colts game on Sunday. So this story is fucking wild as hell, man. This has just been. I ain't never seen no shit like this, bruh. Never. This is insane work right here. So Mark Sanchez, let me go ahead. Let me pull this up. Cause I'm thinking like, bro, what the fuck is going on? So Mark Sanchez was stabbed Saturday night, and nobody knew what was going on. He was in the hospital in critical condition. Then he got in a stable condition, recovered from his injuries. So I want to read this that I came across. We can now report what is stated in the police narrative from last night's stabbing involving former NFL quarterback Mark Sanchez. According to the police narrative we received from sources, Sanchez was not cooperating with police when they first arrived on the scene. Another man listed as the victim in the police report told police he was delivering food when Sanchez told him he needed to move and couldn't park where he was. That man told police Sanchez started threatening and following him and then attacked him. The man said he first tried to pepper spray Sanchez, but it didn't work. He said it was at that time he defended himself with a knife. Police noted the man had a significant injury to his face. Sanchez was taken to the hospital in critical condition and underwent surgery. A statement from Indianapolis Police Department. The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department now says Mark Sanchez has been arrested for his alleged role in the incident during which he was stabbed early morning. After further investigation and following consultation with the Marion County Prosecutor's Office, IMPD arrested 30-year-old Mark Sanchez for his alleged role on this incident. Sanchez was arrested at the hospital for battery with injury, unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, and public intoxication, all which are misdemeanors. All involved parties have been identified and no further individuals are being sought by detectives. Sanchez is still in the hospital and has not been booked in the adult detention center. The Marion County Prosecutor Office will make the final charging decision, and arrest is merely an accusation, and Sanchez should be considered innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. This sounds like a drunk night, and Mark Sanchez was basically not minding his fucking business, if this is to be true. This all it sounds like. If somebody was delivering food, the story sounded weird because if he's DoorDash delivering food, why are you worrying about what he got going on? So again, there still needs to be some more comfort in this story. But if I'm rolling with this sounds like unlawful entry of a car. It sounds like Mark Sanchez was drunk out his mind and not minding his business. And you got stabbed up. And you in the hospital recovering from your injuries. That's a sad way to go out. Get stabbed up and get arrested? That's crazy. This sounds like, if I'm applying my logic, Mark Sanchez was drunk out his mind, stumbling around the area, ran up on somebody, not minding his business, and dog had to defend himself. Because I don't see a sober mind just running up on somebody who delivering food to start a problem. So, like, again, if there's some footage, there might be some footage that might drop, but this sounds like a case of Mark Sanchez not minding his business, man. So, and I hope you know, because there was a lot of people in sports media who came out and defended Mark Sanchez off the rip. So if these details come out, you better get your funky ass back on the TL or on your show and hold that man accountable if he wasn't minding his business. People don't be playing. People, at times it's hard. And he delivering DoorDash, he needed that money. People don't be out here doing that shit just for their fucking health. They need the money. You out here, it's 12 o'clock at night, I got this DoorDash delivery, and you running up on me, I ain't got time to play games, bruh. And I'm glad that Mark Sanchez is okay. I believe the other victim as well, he's okay. But this is a fine case, if this is true, of minding your fucking business. Mind your business. People don't got time to be playing with you out here. All right? So, I'll be interested to see what else comes from this. Oh, man, people got to mind their business, bro. This is crazy. That's crazy. Mark, so I'm like, damn, who the fuck want to stab up Mark Sanchez in Indy? God damn, motherfuckers just running up on us like, that shit. This sounds like a case of Mark not minding his business. But like I see, more information to come from that. So that's pretty much all I got this week, man. Again, thank y'all for tapping in with me. Continue to please chase y'all goals. Stay on top of it. End the year on a high note. We are in the fourth quarter, y'all. We are in the fourth quarter. So please, please make sure that you on your P's and Q's. You get in that gym. Get your ass in that gym. And ultimately be disciplined in pursuing and chasing your dreams, man. Please make sure you do that. Because God gives you two things. He gives you a gift and he gives you an opportunity. In the middle, it's on you to put in the fucking work. God gives you a gift and God gives you an opportunity or opportunities to fulfill them. So, like I say every week, this is I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. I'm out.